Welcome back to the Blue Door Pub Thunderdome for another boo. The Andy Carlson, Minnesota's 87 best daily podcast, a show about everything and absolutely nothing at all. Coming right at your ass 5 days a week. Sin Shotgun is nobody. Absolutely nobody. Dave Schwartz had to cancel last second, but still love him. Bless his heart. He's the Matt Damon to my Jimmy Kimmel. I think that's what's going on. And sorry, we ran out of time. Matt Damon, you got bumped till next. We will hook up. This is happening. Yeah, and I did feel bad because he felt bad because I don't think I've shared this, but we've been trying to connect for 6 weeks, couple months, something like that. Just never can find a date that works, and when we do, something comes up because the news it shifts so much, and if a story's late, if the other party doesn't show up, it throws the whack to everything. But whatever. I haven't been back to Blue Door in a while in a recording capacity, but we'll be back there on Wednesday after the Andy Luker football machine because Daddy's got to get his fix in. But we're back here grinding, and again, tell a friend, spread the word. iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. Uncle Nick is not here either. He's out enjoying his life and doing a solo show. Yeah, because I feel bad because we are taking one day off next week because of the 4th of July, and we're going to rebroadcast one of our favorite interview shows. But I always feel, as listening to a show, I get it, especially since shows like daily podcasts I listen to, like the Adam Carolla show, they put in so much work, and we put in work here as well. Nick works his ass off, our guests work our ass off, producer Allie does too. But yeah, I just feel like a little gypped. Like I could have easily thrown up a rebroadcast for tomorrow, but no, I'm not going to do that for the listeners, not going to do that for the sponsors, and also, frankly, not going to do that to myself because I still have half a foot I have half a foot forward of me actually wanting to get into terrestrial radio, and that is a grind. That is, I have major respect to guys who can do 3 to 4 hours just filling time every single day, and I get it. With radio commercial breaks, it basically breaks down if you're doing a 3-hour show to about hour and a half of talking time, and you get guests and you get sidekicks and you can banter back and forth and you get recurring bits and and it helps, and it helps us do it here. But we're only doing an hour a day, and sometimes 55 minutes a day. But just getting in the reps, and also I think this is a very underrated skill, and something I have great respect for people who are able to pull this off, where they don't have that full-time sidekick. They don't have a co-host where it's literally them and a producer. The producer's mic's not turned on except to be like, yep, yep, and are able to fill 3 to 4 hours just by themselves, just with their own thoughts. And some have copious notes. Some guys write down every single word that they say, and some guys just sort of wing it, 6 words and a Post-it note. And I'm moving much more to the latter. I definitely used to be the former. I mean, we talked about the first episode of Purple for the Win, December 2013, the Baltimore Ravens debacle, where we let Joe Flacco march 80 yards in 45 seconds in a blizzard for the game-winning score to something called Marlon Moore. But I'm not bitter at all. Just ask me. I wrote down every single freaking word that I just regurgitated it back, and I think it was a 14-minute episode, because I think I read fast because I was pretty nervous, even though I was just in my home office by myself. But yeah, who really knows? But with this, have 6 words written down on a napkin and just gonna let this thing rip. And also I kind of miss the old Rode microphone, which is what we're on now. I think it's got a little bit more bass, a little bit more reverb to it, and I like the sound of this. And I'm gonna find a way to upgrade our multi into the mixer recording units, because love the headsets, they're fantastic. But when you're on the go, like when you're on a remote setup, like they work great for Blue Door, they work great for when we're going to be down in Mankato. But if it's just like me and Nick or me and a guest sitting up in studio, let's get some road bad boys up in this thing. And so this is just as much for me as it is for you guys. So we'll try to be entertaining today. Also, Soda Stick Co. Love them. They're coming out with the brand new Touch 'em All hats. And I know what you're thinking. You're going to be walking around with a hat that says Touch 'em All, except this is the one state you can actually get away with that, and you won't get any funny looks because it's a harken back to Minnesota baseball lore. They're going to come in 4 styles. They're ready for pre-order right now. Check it out, sodastickco.com. And, hey, if you order anything, if you use the promo code PURPLEFTW, you get free U.S. shipping. So a couple of talkers I want to get to. Number one, drinking. Now, we all like the drinking, and the whole Michael Floyd saga, where I don't think anyone in their right minds buys the kombucha thing. And I also love the simpleton people of, well, the Vikings said that they believe him, so they must believe him. BS. This is completely cover your ass mode, because they're the ones who supplied and pushed the kombucha. Like, if there's one hint of that possibly setting him up for jail time, yeah, they're just covering their ass. I don't think anyone in that building, the Wilfs, Kevin Warren, Rick Spielman, Mike Zimmer, believes that Michael Floyd got a .055 off of some tea. Yeah, I don't think that's flying. So I always go back and forth with this, because I know a lot of people who are self-proclaimed, well, not self-proclaimed, but they're alcoholics. And they range anywhere from are fine having a beer every now and then, but it better not be 2. And some others, they can't touch a drop, otherwise they'll completely fall off the wagon, and that wagon will fall off a cliff and light on fire like in a cartoon. And I understand that, and it's hard. It's a very difficult thing because it's very personal, and I do not have this affliction. And that's always what they say. Is like, I can stop whenever I want. And it's touched pretty much everyone. It has touched their lives, whether it's a friend or a relative. They know that it used to be, well, they love themselves the bottle. And now it's become it's not a stigma, but like a badge of courage. Like when you're able to get your stuff together, get your life organized, admit that you have a problem, and get everything sorted out, that earns a lot of respect in my book, and hopefully in a lot of other people's books. And with Michael Floyd, it's tough to judge another person's path, but also it's tough to say. I'm not completely sold that he's a drop-down alcoholic. I really don't. I think there's a certain percentage of immaturity and hubris here. And now I preface this with, I could be completely wrong. Michael Floyd could actually be a guy who needs to have just a little something, a little pick-me-up just to get out of bed, just to get right, just to get through the day. We've all seen the high-functioning alcoholics in the world out there, and I don't know. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But at a certain point, if you're given so many second chances and then you screw up on all of them, when is it on you? When is it your responsibility for your actions, even though it is addiction? And alcohol is different from like narcotics or heroin or opioids or anything like that, because it's legal. Yeah, because if you're over 21, you can go anywhere except here on Sundays, and you can buy beer. You can buy a shot. You can buy one bourbon, one scotch, one beer. That's why it's so difficult to process, because it's so available and it's so socially acceptable. I mean, how many billions of dollars are pumped into marketing of alcohol? And we have alcohol sponsors on this show too, and I stand by them. I love their products, but it's almost in the same vein as food addiction. When someone says that they can't get through the day without dropping $15 or $20 at Taco Bell or McDonald's or whatever, and on one hand, you put your judgment hat on to be like, well, just don't go there. Why don't you just eat a salad? Why don't you just do X, Y, Z? But on the other hand, I've been there. I've been there where I think I alluded to this story before, but in college there was a McDonald's that was between the bars down on 3rd Street and the campus, which was a couple blocks away. So it started out as just a consolation prize, like if maybe I went 0 for 4 at the plate in the evening. If you catch my drift, down at the local establishments, I'd be like, all right. So I'll go back and grab some McDonald's and then go put on a movie and then pass out and blah, blah, blah. But eventually it got to the point where going out with the friends and trying to meet some members of the fairer sex turned into, I can't wait for those burgers. I can't wait to dip out of here at like 9:47 and do the Irish goodbye of just disappearing and go load up with the customary order, 2 McDoubles, 2 McChickens. Yeah, it was good to go. And that's back when it was actual dollar menu, so it cost $4.26. I remember it cost $4.26 because sales tax here in Minnesota is 6.5. So that's how much that seared in my mind. The $4.26. And yeah, I had I don't want to say that's an eating disorder, but it's definitely out of whack. Like I wouldn't. And here's the thing: alcoholism and food addiction, I don't think is binary. I don't think it's either completely off or completely on. I think there's a lot of gray area in there, and a lot of people are on that spectrum. Pardon the whole pun thing, but. I don't know, with Michael Floyd, if it is immaturity, and even if it's not, even if it's pure addiction, maybe given his ass a full year suspension, which the NFL could certainly do, even though the judge was pretty lenient on him, only giving him 1 day in jail and 5 days more house arrest. We'll see if he can be on house arrest this time around. Because he was already in line for a multi-game suspension. The baseline is 2, but Goodell, he always factors in what's happened before in Arizona, the multiple incidents, what happened at Notre Dame, blah blah blah. So I think he was already in line for 4. And now with this, it wouldn't shock me if they shut him down for the year. And if it's immaturity or if it's true addiction, he needs to take this year and get his stuff together. Because if it's a full year suspension and it doesn't get appealed down, or if it's upheld or whatever, he goes the Josh Gordon route. The Vikings retain his rights, and then we come back in 2018 and we do the whole song and dance all over again. That is his last chance. Yeah, it really is. But we kick this off with drinking. College versus now. I mean, a lot of people transition from the Busch Lights, the Bud Lights of the world, whatever was the cheapest bottled beer or tap beer at your local college place. And then, you get out to the real world, pay off some of your student loans, you got some money going for you, and then you upgrade to the IPA. Give me a humpiest IPA. But it's good. But I have found that when the heat gets ramped up, that pushes you more towards lighter beers, whether it be shandies, whether it be pale ales, whether it be light beer. And the college beer has reared its ugly head, because one of my favorites in college was Grain Belt Light. Now, it's hard to find, and my local liquor store, the Muni, because I always try to keep it locally and not give the money to private companies, but that's an argument for another day, had 2 cases of it. I'm like, snap it up. And I don't know, like, beer snobs bug me, but because how are you going to judge another man's method of taking the edge off, right? But I've gotten to the point where I don't care. Like, you really don't care, because once you get to the stage of life where you honestly don't give 2 hoots what people think of you, like, personally, or you're not going to be ripping people off. You're still going to try and remain in good graces of people. But once you get to the point where people who don't matter, like, high school was like the peak of this, where you worried about what everyone thought of you. And even though most of the people that you hated their guts or they're a non-factor. You worried so much what they thought about you. Once you get to that age where you realize you don't have to impress anyone, you don't have to do any of that, and it doesn't matter what anyone thinks of you, that is bliss. That is nirvana. Now, some people don't get to that point until they're 80, and then they're in the nursing home just hanging out with their junk out of their robe. Yeah. But having it at the ripe old age of 32, which I just turned on Friday, it's nice. It is nice. And, but progressing into the drinking departments, it's funny because initially getting out of college, we all go towards the heavy stuff, the IPAs, the stouts, the double hops IPA or the EPA. But then there's like a sine wave or like a cosine wave or whatever the math term is. It slinks back the other way because there's a couple of weight gain traps right when you get to college, because they're sending your ass to an all-you-can-eat buffet multiple times a day, and all you got to do is swipe your little card on your stupid little lanyard, and that's the only time that you're ever going to wear a lanyard unless you work in corporate America, and right when you get out of college and start your first job. Because it's probably going to be stressful. You're probably going to hate it because it's going to be entry level, and you're probably going to want to tell your boss to go, So instead of going to Lifetime Fitness after a hard day's work of hating your guts and making copies and doing coffee runs, you're just going to go balls deep in that Little Caesars pizza where they wrap it up with 4 pounds of bacon. Yeah, that's what you're going to do. So that's the second one. There's two main weight gain sectors, but the professional one eventually, since a lot of people will be single, they'll still be like, man, I got to get my stuff together. And now I have money. So now I can afford whey protein and pre-workout and branched chain amino acids and a good gym membership and blah, blah, blah. And so they go hardcore into the getting in shape category. And that's when they're running marathons, when they're doing weightlifting competitions, when they get into CrossFit. All hail CrossFit. That's when they're doing triathlons and all that stuff. And like my group of friends from college, a lot of us on the Pedal Pub. Oh, and also Josh Pelto on the Pedal Pub too. What's up, Josh? Remax preferred. You get into that zone now where you're looking to lose weight. And now you come back with the Michelob Ultras and also the Seltzer White Claw. The White Claw. The hard seltzer. It's all over the place. It's all the ladies drink nowadays. And they're actually pretty good. They are pretty good. I will not complain about it. But yeah, once you start getting more refined tastes and can start affording it, you can start buying some good stuff. Like I'm not a Scotch guy. I want to, like, don't get me wrong. I'll drink a Scotch. I'll drink it neat. I'll drink it with one ice cube. Yeah, a little something there. But I don't know I can't appreciate the different ages, the different brands, the different da-da-da. Just if it's good, it's good. Yeah. But gin. Yeah. I used to be in college, it was Fleischmann's because it was cheap. And it was $13 for a plastic 175 handle of it. But yeah, I've always loved gin. And whether it be Gorton's or Beefeaters or Bombay or Tanqueray, the ultimate is Hendrick's. I love Hendrick's gin, and it's a little bit spendier. It comes in a crock. It doesn't come in a bottle. It comes in a friggin' crock. And here's what you do. So you do the Hendrick's. You do a little bit of tonic, and then you do, instead of the lime in the gin and tonic, you do a slice of cucumber. Yes. And, the kicker, a couple of twists of Himalayan sea salt. Yeah, just a nice little crack. The saltiness brings out a couple of the notes on the Hendrick's and the floral notes, because I don't get why people drink just straight vodka or like a vodka tonic or a vodka sour. Like, there's no flavor. I mean, it's just, vodka is just booze. I mean, rubbing alcohol is the first cousin of vodka. And there's a reason why, like, true alcoholics load up on the vodka, because it's quasi-scentless, it's quasi-flavorless, and then you just gut it. You know, there's a reason why the Russians are all drunk. But gin, oh, man. Gin is where you start getting in flavors. And, also if you're a fan of the Bloody Mary, and I'm going to venture out and say that a majority of the audience is a fan of Bloody Marys, is replace the vodka with gin. And you have what's called a red snapper. And it is good. Like you won't even be able to tell the difference. And man, get it with usually use just rail gin, but if you use the Hendrix on the Bloody Mary, I get that's kind of waste, but whatever. Double down on the cucumber spears. Instead of the pickles, put in a couple of cucumber spears, and you'll be good to go there. Yeah, but I also want to know what kind of drunk my daughter's going to be. And I know this is kind of a weird statement to say, but think about when you had your first drink. Now, not just like dad gives you a sip of his hams when you're 8, but your first legit drinking a beer. Mine was when I was 15, and it was my friend Eric's basement, and it was Killian's Irish Red. Yeah, so how about that for your first beer? Something that's going to put a little hair on your ass. Yeah. And it was not good. It was not ideal. No, it really wasn't. But the first time I actually got half buzzed was just a random summer Saturday. I think it was after like a baseball tournament, and we're sitting in the backyard, and Dad was grilling. He was doing chicken, and that usually with the chicken quarters with the tinfoil, yeah, and that usually takes about 45 minutes, since he was always the charcoal guy. And so we're just sitting back there, and he tosses me a beer. He tosses me a Busch Light, and he's like, "Well, you earned it," even though I think we lost, but whatever. So I sat back there, and I drank 2 beers of my dad. I got a little buzz on. We talked about life. Actually, I think we talked about Saving Private Ryan mostly. Yeah. I had a lot of questions about that because my dad's a bit of a history nerd, so I always picked his brain on stuff like that. And to this day, I still think it was because he wanted to see how I was buzzed. Like, if I got up from the chair and fell over or threw up or tried to throw a haymaker at him, was like, "Just bring it on, old man." Yeah. Then he would know. That'd be a good sign. And I think it is important to know, like, even though, yes, the drinking age is 21, like, I want my daughter's first time that she's buzzed or drunk to be in my garage while we have friends and family over, as opposed to in the basement of some frat house surrounded by 9 guys named Sully. I mean, that's sort of common sense in my book. And I know it's probably not the most PC route to go, but whatever, because it's also for her sake, not just because of protection and because she's a female. If she was a boy, or when we have future sons, I want it to be the same thing too, because I don't want him wandering out into the lake when it's freezing outside, or I don't want him wandering in traffic or getting run over by a train. I want him to know, and her to know, if they're the type that blacks out if they drink hard liquor, or if they drink too many beers on an empty stomach, they'll end up vomiting. Because this is important stuff to know, and not because I'm trying to foist alcohol upon them. Like, if they don't want to drink, if they don't want to touch a drop, that's perfectly fine. Actually, I would much prefer that. If they wanted to live the Mormon life, that's perfect. That's fine, or the SDA life. What's up, producer Allie? But if they do, because they're going to be going to college, and there's going to be temptation all over the place, and because it's more of a social thing rather than just a straight up abuse to your liver thing, and they want to be accepted, they want friends, they want to hang out with members of the opposite sex, or they're trying to get with significant others, or if they're in the boys and the girls, whatever. I want them to know. I want them to know what kind of drunk they are. To be able to calibrate themselves, to know that, hey, if you can drink 18 beers without getting a buzz on Andre the Giant style, go at it, Sonny. And if Margaret gets blackout plastered off of half of a tequila sunrise, I want her to know that. I want her friends to know that too, and I want to know that as well. So yeah, that's just me. But I have noticed that when it comes to drinking, when you're 20, 21, 22, 23, whatever, you can get completely annihilated. Like, you can drink a dozen Coors Lights. You can do 5 shots. You can do whatever. You can eat an entire Little Caesars pizza and 2 tacos. Ooh, here's the key. This is actually really good, too. Take a slice of Little Caesars pizza and then just mash a hard shell Taco Bell taco on top of it. You got taco pizza. It made a lot more sense when I was drunk in 22. Whatever. But you can wake up the next morning, no hangover, feeling fine, ready to attack the world, go lift, go for a run in 100% humidity, and you're perfectly fine. But now, and this started shifting when I was about 25. Like, if I met a couple of friends for dinner on a weeknight and had 2 beers, the next morning it would be roads closed in terms of the gastrointestinal situation. Yeah. And also, you got the slight dull headache where you're to the point where, I don't need to take an ibuprofen. I'd rather not, but maybe I should. Yeah. And also, if you get smashed, like, it's over. Like, you're going to need 4 or 5 days to recover. But gut health has become really important to me, and bringing it full circle to the kombucha. I drink it a couple times a week. It's delicious. It's fermented, and it makes me feel, whether you buy into the health benefits of it or not, it does make me feel better in the pipe area. And I have noticed that when I was younger, I had the iron stomach. I could handle anything, spice, volume, dairy, whatever. But around age 22, I started to find that liquid milk was not agreeing with me, and I got it checked out. And apparently, I developed a lactose intolerance to milk. Yeah, so I had to cut that out. I still eat plenty of dairy, and it isn't as adverse, but yeah, the plumbing definitely takes a hit as you get older, and actually cutting out gluten, except for the occasional pizza and also beer, has definitely helped. And whether it's placebo, whether it be whatever, yeah. And also, here's something I do. I eat something fermented every day. Now, I'm not. You can do the Activia yogurt that helps you poop. You can go that route. But what I do is either eat a couple pickles or some olives, or here's the key, like a half fist sauerkraut, yeah, or kimchi, like when we have that in the house, yeah. Just that, and you don't even notice it. Like, slap it on top of a piece of lunch meat, roll it up, and you're good to go. And I found that really helps, because the feeling of not having a lot of bricks, or not having piled up in your doorway, or not having a lot of planes taxing at LAX, if you know what I mean, it's just phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. All right, so solo episode of Boo with Andy Carlson on a Wednesday will be RB. Andy Carlson here, Purple for the Win podcast, letting you know that we'll be here all off-season long, talking the Vikings angle on everything. Combine, pro days, free agency, the draft, OTAs, training camp in 2017. Baby. Get the show on 1500 ESPN, Podcast One, and the Podcast One app. And come back into the Blue Door Pub Studios, baby. And what did I say about kimchi? It's so delicious. And the Kim Cheese Tachos, the tots of time, you can still get them, but you got to hurry. What they do, a nice little bed of the beautiful golden brown tater tots, and they top it with queso and chili lime pork and the kimchi. And then the whirly sauce, which is their house sriracha aioli. So amazingly good. Hit it up at all 3 Twin Cities locations: Longfellow, St. Paul, the OG, and University on Como, thebdp.com/specials. Yeah, find out all the tots of time, the blue sea of the moment, and also the just wing it. Hit it up. So the Timberwolves are sucking me back in to this fear. Just when I think that I'm out, they pull me back in. And like every male adolescent, I was a big NBA fan. Like, I'm gonna look this up because I was really big into basketball cards. Not too big into baseball cards, but basketball cards was my jam. And 85 draft was amazing to be. That was the KG year, right? That's pretty sure. But growing up with Kevin Garnett and Stephon Marbury, I had the poster of them all, also of Ramos and Randy Moss and Kevin Garnett where they switched jerseys. Yeah, I mean, that's a classic one, right? And I was a big Wolves fan. I like when they made the run to the Western Conference Finals, and that was the last time they really had a big three, Garnett and Sprewell and Sam Cassell and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. Like, I just sort of fell off. Like, I keep tabs on the stars. Like, I'm aware of most of the stars. I don't know who Damian Lillard is. Well, I know who he is, except I'm not familiar with his game. Apparently, he's pretty good. But, all right, so this 1995 draft. Number 1, Joe Smith, power forward out of Maryland. He's playing the 4. Antonio McDyess, who the NBA, number 2. The NBA is so weird in that you don't even know. Like, Antonio McDyess might still be playing. Like, dudes can ride the end of the bench and keep hammering those checks for years. And I will say that being 12th man on an NBA team when you used to be the man is the best job in sports because you have a guaranteed contract. You're bringing in at least a couple mil. I mean, the veteran minimum is up there, and you're doing all the travel, and you got your ladies in all the different cities, and you're eating at all the best spots and going to the best clubs, and you don't have to play. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. So number 3, Jerry Stackhouse. Number 4, Rasheed Wallace to the Bullets. Yeah, back when they were the Bullets. Yeah. Number 5, Kevin Garnett, the pride of Farragut Academy to the Wolves at 5. Number 6, Brian Big Country Reeves. You remember him? That was amazing. I didn't even know that Oklahoma State had basketball. Yeah. Damon Stoudemire, I always adored because he was like 5'6", like me. Yeah. Even though I'm 5'8". On a good day. Yeah. But Kevin Garnett, I just remember my dad was so pissed. It was like, well, the Wolves done screwed it up again. They drafted some kid out of high school. What's he going to do? Yeah, he turned out to be pretty all right. Even though I sort of understand the KG hate, whereas like he never led us to a finals and he left to go ring chase and blah, blah, blah. But whatever. It's Kevin Garnett. He's the greatest player in franchise history. Don't hate. But bring in Jimmy Butler for essentially Zach LaVine, the number 7 pick and whatever. Butler is a legit star, and he's still quasi-young at 27. And I think with him and Karl-Anthony Towns, who is already going to be one of the best centers in the league, and Wiggins, I'm a little concerned that Butler and Wiggins are kind of skill set redundant, but it can work. I mean, it should be able to work. And I'm a fan of keeping Rubio because if you get some more shooting in the building, Rubio doesn't have to shoot, and that's always been his Achilles heel or his big knock, even though he's improved as he's come along. But you just need a guy who can distribute. Ricky Rubio can do that. And I don't know, like Ricky Rubio being traded is the equivalent to Marcus Sherrill's always on the verge of getting cut in training camp. Like, you think maybe this is the year because it's been going on for 5 years now, both of them. But then it just doesn't happen. And I'd be fine with it because now with Butler in the mix, as much as I like LaVine, he was coming off an injury. And I don't know, like his game, it might develop, it might mature. But, I mean, overall, he's a slam dunk contest guy. I mean, it's fun, sure. But is it going to win you championships? Probably not. But being reunited with Tibbs, and Tibbs is probably going to run Butler into the ground, playing him 45 minutes a game, whatever. I think this team has a serious shot to make the playoffs and maybe make a little noise. I mean, the Western Conference ain't what it used to be. It's still top heavy. Of course, you got the Warriors, OKC with Russ, the newly crowned MVP, isn't going anywhere anytime soon. San Antonio's fading, and I think we can do. I think I'm back in. I think I'm officially back on the Timberwolves bandwagon. Hopefully the new jerseys don't suck, because the new logo sucks. The new logo just completely ripped off Canis Hoopus, and I'm still kind of bitter about it, because they had such a great opportunity to just... Nostalgia is so big, and if they just completely went back to the old logo, maybe with a couple of... like 3D lettering or some drop shadowing here and there just to spruce it up a little bit, that would be amazing. Think of how much merchandise you would have sold to your key demographic who's actually buying the merchandise of, 30 to 45-year-olds who grew up with that OG 1989 Pooh frickin' Richardson Timberwolves logo. I mean, just amazing. It would be amazing. But, yeah, I'm back in. Probably going to have to go to a couple more games this year. And, yeah, I mean, this is probably the biggest trade in Minnesota sports history. Or the biggest big name one where the Wolves where the Minnesota team actually got the better end of the deal. Like, this is it's not quite a reverse Herschel Walker, but it's kind of close. Because I'm trying to think. There hasn't been any other like big splash trades besides bringing home Randy Moss and bringing home Kevin Garnett at the tail end of their career. I mean, that's really about it. Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe the Wolves are just like up in our ante. But either way, Tibbs, if he's gonna go down, he's gonna go down swinging, and he got his guys. Sticking with sports, I wanted to talk a little bit about fauxtrage, or who had someone put this one out? Controversy. I think it was Jim Weber. Yeah, Jim Weber, formerly Lost Letterman. He's great. Controversy, fauxtrage is the one I always like to go with. And I get that it's summer. I get that it's slow. I get that we're starting to round the corner to 4th of July, and everything just sort of shuts down for a little bit. And sports radio and TV, we need stuff to talk about. And Twitter is always a hotbed for just whatever. But the whole Serena Williams, John McEnroe controversy, it's nothing. It is nothing. It's a old dude who says that Serena Williams would rank 700th on the men's tour, just talking out of his ass. Because there's a men's tour and there's a women's tour, and they're never going to cross. Like, there's going to be a mixed gender tour. This isn't going to be Billie Jean King and whatever that jabroni's name was for Battle of Sexes. This is not a Michelle Wee is going to play in some men's tournaments. That's just not going to happen. So it's really a non-issue, but they've opened it up so that people can just virtue signal and just, bash their pots and pans and get some free points on it. It was like, how dare they judge Serena, who is the greatest of all time? And I agree. Serena is the greatest of all time women's tennis player. And I don't think it's misogynistic to compare the two sports. I think it's just stupid, because it's almost like comparing... It is really, truly moronic. But all the sports media outlets are running with it, and it just makes my head... It almost makes me want them to talk about Kaepernick some more, because that's the whole thing, too. It's where, like, you can... So with the Serena thing, it's like, how dare he diminish her accomplishments by comparing her to the men's game? It doesn't even make sense. She is a strong female, the greatest in her sport, and she is. And thank you for saying nothing. Thank you for saying absolutely what is true, cool, and dropping that. Or the Kaepernick. I do not think that a player should be blackballed from the league in a colluded manner because of his views on politics. Okay, cool. Yeah, we understand that. It's 32 teams making 32 individual decisions, but I digress there. I understand. And the whole, I don't. If Kombucha Gate broke during training camp, it would be a minuscule story. But since we're in that dead zone now, I think it's 36 days until training camp. Or I don't even know what it is. It's less than that, because stupid rookies are showing up 3 days early now. Anyways, it's really a non-story, but yeah, whatever. It makes me, it annoys me just talking about it. But moving on to something better. I've made it known on the show that I'm not a fan of travel. Like, I really don't. But, when I do travel, I feel like if we could sell a pill that it's different than X-Lax. Now, hear me out. A pill that will non-violently vacate your bowels before a flight. So, if you're just sitting in the terminal bathroom, you're chilling there, with your carry-on, you just crack this little pill. Like, maybe it's like the Nazi cyanide pills that you crack behind your molar, and then it just goes. Yeah. And then instant bowel vacation. Before you go on your vacation, we just got it. Oh, my God. Yeah. The bowel vacation. That's what the pill is going to be called. Oh, I'm going to make $1 billion off of this. And here's what it is. It's one time. It goes quick through the body. Like, you're not going to be crapping yourself 2 hours from now on the plane, right? But just whatever's in your body, just complete bowel vacation. Yeah. I think people would, because there's nothing worse than flying on a full belly / a backed up sewer steps. Yeah, but I'm not the biggest fan of travel. I don't have wanderlust. I'm pretty much the only person under 35 who hasn't visited at least 3 continents, but whatever. And I don't know what it is. I'm a stay-at-home guy, like on the weekends or my vacation time, even though I don't take vacation time because I work for myself. But the whole weekend, I just want to work on the house. Like, I would love to scrape the deck. Like, I don't need to go to the Azores, or I don't need to go to the Amazon rainforest, or I don't need to go see Machu Picchu or Mazatlan or Chicken Pizza or Chichen Itza or whatever the hell it is. I don't care. I don't care. But I do have a couple places I want to go. So one, South Korea, the homeland. And I do have this dream, mainly for hashtag content, because I'm a huge narcissist, of filming going back to South Korea and going back through the adoption agency and finding my birth mother, and if she's still alive, having the reunion and filming it and having her meet Muggsy and that whole thing. And I think that would be great TV. I think it really would. I think we could sell that, or at least put it on YouTube and get a couple million hits. Yeah, it'd be great. But South Korea, the whole getting back to the roots. Love to see Seoul. Love to see Busan, where the Allies and the South Koreans made their last stand at the beginning of the Korean War, the Korean conflict. Yeah, and I hear that it's a beautiful country and it's great. Love to do karaoke. Number 2, Japan. Since I am half Japanese, I have to pay homage to that side as well. Love to have some real authentic sushi of where you belly up to the bar and then you just tell the chef go, and then you're sucking back on some great sake. Yeah. Or as Anthony Bourdain calls it, Tuesday. Yeah. And third place, Rome. Rome, mainly because of the historical stuff. Like, I don't really care about all the new crap. Like, I don't care about the Vatican or St. Basilica or any of that crap. I care about, like, ancient Rome stuff. Like, I want to see Pompey's Theater. I want to see the remains of the Forum. I want to see the Colosseum. I want to see the Appian Way. I want to go down and see Capua. I want to do all those things. Yeah, because I'm a little bit of a ancient Rome nerd. And, free plug, the History of Rome podcast. It wrapped up a couple years ago, but I think there's 130 episodes, maybe even more than that. And every week, just every episode, it's pretty short. The guy just breaks down a piece of ancient Roman history. I love that. I've binged through that a couple times now. It's great. And so that's pretty much it. Like, those are, like, if I can hit those 3 places before I die, I'm good. The wife really wants to see Scotland. Sure. We could do that. But, yeah, South Korea, Japan, Rome, and, this one seems a little bit more feasible. The barbecue and beer tour across the country. Because I love ribs. I love brisket. I love everything barbecue. And, yeah, I love beer. And we could turn this to a web series, because I think Michael Simon had Brews, Q's, and Blues, or something like that. He had a similar type show, except this one would have cursing. I don't know, because there's so much great barbecue across this country. Like, we all know about the Carolinas and the Nashvilles and the Texas and the Kansas Cities, but I'm going to explore some other barbecue hotspots, like Baltimore. Like, no one knows that Baltimore is phenomenal, and they have something called a burnt end sandwich, which has branched out across the country, except they're one of the first ones that perfected. And what you do is you got your brisket, but on every brisket, there's a little tri-corner that you'll just cut off, and that's the ends. And then you dice that up, and then you sauce it, and just right on a nice little bun. Yeah, have that, and a blue crab sandwich. Oh, yeah, it's bad. Or whatever sport Muggsy gravitates towards, whether it's football or basketball or hockey, probably not hockey, or soccer, maybe MLS strikes your fancy, or baseball. I would love to do an epic road trip where you see in like the fathers and sons, fathers and daughters go to every single stadium in one fell swoop. Like, say she loves baseball, and that would be great because I don't hate baseball, and I actually think baseball is the best spectator sport because it's summer, it's beautiful out, you don't really have to pay attention to the game, you get to see some of the stars, and ballpark food, you got a hot dog, you got your peanuts, you got your Cracker Jacks, you got your beer, you're good. You're good. You're good. We don't eat sushi at the ball game. Get out of here. Or fried crickets. Yeah, get out of here, Seattle. But, man, if she loves baseball, I would love to do the tour where we go to each stadium in like 35 days or something redonkulous like that. That would be an amazing trip because as much as I dislike travel, I do like road trips. Yeah. As weird as it sounds, I don't know. There's just something about the open road and some good music or, well, frankly, if you're alone, some good podcasts or some good books on tape. Because, hell, maybe I should do road trips alone. Although that just seems weird, doesn't it? Yeah. I think it does. But, yeah, overall, that's my sort of travel. That's the places that I would go. South Korea, Japan, Rome, barbecue and beer tour across the country, and sports my kid loves most. Yeah. We have an IKEA trip coming up. Not really too excited. Yeah, the mother-in-law's coming up, and they're going to be, her and the wife and Muggsy and apparently me, we're going to be shopping for some new housewares and stuff. And here's the thing about IKEA. Even if you order the exact kitchen, like the Flügelschlagen or whatever, it's not going to look like it does on the display. Like, it will never look that nice. It might for a day, but then you're going to be piling up. You're going to have bills in one corner. You're going to have Junior's art project on the thing. Someone's going to leave some of that fruit punch, like that sugar-free fruit punch and stuff, which is probably equally as bad for you, except you don't feel quite as bad about it. Yeah, they're gonna drip some of that on the white granite, and that will like somehow soak in because like the aspartame and the dye number 5 just like eat away at the granite, and then it just seeps in there, and then you pull your hair out, and then you move. Yeah, and that's IKEA. But I do love IKEA. I don't like the hustle and bustle of it. I do like they're innovative in that they have a flow to it. Like, you can't double back because there's a very clear flow through the departments. So it's not always a free-for-all, but yet some people break the rules because we're people. And also, the carts that slide side to side, those are key. Yeah, those are pretty amazing. And as much as I complain about putting stuff together, it's always good to have a project. And especially if you don't work with your hands for a living, like you work on the computer or you quasi yell into a microphone like I do, having projects where you have your dexterity and you're doing problem solving, I think that's really important because I think otherwise you just go insane. I mean, I really do. Like, if you're a computer programmer and then you just do that all day, and then say you're a video game player, so you do that all night and all weekend, I think eventually you're just going to go nuts. I think eventually you're... Oh, and also, if you have those jobs, it's very binary in that you're either going to be 135 pounds and like emaciated or 400. I mean, there's no in between. There's no in between of a computer programmer who's also a gamer that does nothing with their hands. Yeah. Well, they do something with their hands, but you know what I mean. But just I almost like throwing away the instructions on IKEA stuff and just figuring it out. And yeah, you end up with a couple of extra pieces. And yeah, it's probably a liability and probably voids the warranty if it falls off the wall and kills the neighbor kid who's over because they're making Play-Doh. But whatever. Yeah, I'd say whatever. So looking forward to that. Little IKEA action going on. And something I'm also looking forward to is Bad Larry's Cold Hard Coffee. That's right. Meet Bad Larry's first ever boozy coffee, a.k.a. the new drink of summer, because everyone loves the iced coffees, like the mocha choca latte, da. Yeah, that whole thing. Here's what you do. Here's what I found is key. Take a Bad Larry's and then a couple ice cubes, and you pour it over a little bit of rum chata or a little bit of Bailey's Irish Cream. Yeah. Oh, man. That is the way to get going because it's 6% ABV and it's a little sweet. And yeah, if you're going out to win the day, if you're going to go have yourself a Sunday fun day, Saturday funter day, yeah. Kick it off with Bad Larry's Cold Hard Coffee. Perfect for brunch and the tailgate. DrinkBadLarry.com. Get it at many Twin Cities fine retailers, including Total Wine. Pretty much every Total Wine has got to hit it up. Drink Bad Larry's. All right, so we have tomorrow on the show, we got Emery Hunt, football game plans. He's going to be coming in, talking a little bit of football. It's going to be good. And I appreciate you guys sticking through the solo episode. I understand it's very short notice and I had like 6 words written down, but hopefully it was quasi-entertaining. And yeah, I'm going to go take a break and take a breath. And again, truly love you guys spreading the word because, yeah, that's what we do. We don't have a huge marketing budget. We don't have my face plastered on the side of buses or billboards. But here's what you do. Whenever you got some downtime, family member, friend, just turn them on to the show. Tell them about Andy Carlson Show podcast. Comes out every single day, and he's quasi-entertaining, and you can listen to him in your phone, on your car, on the go, wherever. iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. And yeah, thanks producer Allie Jerome Sorensen for making me not sound so stupid today. But for me, I'm me. Saying annyeong, sayonara, and bye-bye. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to Bowl with Andy Carlson, Minnesota's 87th best daily podcast. Download the show on iTunes. Everyone's middle name is Jerome.